All right, what's going on? It is Grego Gallagher here on the Kinobody channel, and I'm here with my very special guest, Tanner Guzzi. And really big news, people have been asking about this style course, when is it going to come out for a long, long time, and it just went live literally a couple hours ago. So you can check that out at kinobody.com/style. It is badass. I created that with Tanner. He's been my coach for the last 4 years or so, and we've done some pretty awesome work together, and I knew like this was something really important that we have to share. And so in this video, we're really going to talk about why building an amazing body is not enough, and why learning style can give you that double effect. So first of all, Tanner, how are you today?
Great, man. I'm really pumped with how well the program's already doing, and I'm proud of what we've put together, and it's been fun to see your progress over the last few years with all this stuff, and then to be able to share it with all you guys is going to be, it's cool. So I'm excited to talk about this. We're going to have a good conversation today.
Yeah, you know what? It's really exciting, and crazy enough, really about 6 years ago when I really wanted to put my because I was so passionate about fitness, I really wanted to put a brand together. And I was really thinking about what was inspiring me, at that time in my life, and what did I think, what was the best direction that I wanted to go in for myself and even for my brand. And there's something about the Hollywood physique that really appealed to me, that lean, muscular, classic look. I mean, if you look back, and the Hollywood type characters, they kind of resemble this. But if you look back, some of the bodybuilders, the lifters back in the early 1900s, before steroids came in, they had that really nice classic look. And then when all the drugs came in and these crazy standards came in, then everyone wanted to get huge and bulky, and so that old style that looks really cool. And I was really inspired by a lot of these actors that got in amazing shape and it looks so cool. And one of the things that appealed to me was they resembled this kind of image that it wasn't just obsessed. They weren't just obsessed about fitness.
Mm-hmm.
In them, just in general, not even in the movies, but outside the movies, they had this whole life together. They were doing awesome stuff. They were in amazing shape, but it wasn't something they were just obsessed about every single day. And I thought that was really cool. And it portrays this certain kind of image. So what's going on there when you combine like a great body with great style? Like, what is being portrayed?
Well, it's cool because what you're doing is you're communicating to people that your fitness or your style or anything else is just one component of a very full life, as opposed to it being the main component of a very limited life. Because, now you look at guys who, whether they're in the fitness industry or it's just the local guy at the gym, and you can tell that based on the clothing that they wear, the way that they're built, the music that they listen, the tribe that they're associated with, that the only thing that matters to them is how big their muscles are, or how big their deadlift is, or anything else related to some sort of benchmark of physical fitness. And nobody wants to be themselves, or nobody really wants to be around anybody else who's overly one-dimensional. We like to be around people who have depth in their lives. And when you can combine a really great physique that doesn't look like it's the only thing that matters, and really good style, which also doesn't look like it's the only thing that matters. Because one of the things we're not going to be telling you guys to do is you have to buy a top hat, or you have to peacock in this other way, or anything. I mean, that's the equivalent of just being overly focused on how big your biceps are. But when you can combine two of these elements that look like they're effortless and look like they are combinations of a full life, then that's when you become a really interesting person to other people, and you actually feel like you've accomplished a lot. You've got a lot more going for you than just one or the other.
Right. No, wow, totally. And I mean, one of the motivations people have when it comes down to getting in shape, the working out, I mean, it's 2017. I mean, you wrote an awesome article on this, and it's like you're working out because you want to look and feel better primarily. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much it. I mean, it's cool to have that strength and that physical capability, because every once in a while, you might have to use it, and it's good to have that. But, fundamentally from a daily standpoint, it's like fitness, it helps you look and feel better. And that's like the biggest drive. And it's funny how style does the exact same thing. So if you're someone that kind of just dresses like, whatever they wear, it might not even look good, but maybe that's just comfortable for what they're doing. When you start to dress better, when you improve your style, and it's very clear that people will treat you differently. It's people will associate different things with you when they see you well dressed. Girls will find you more attractive. People will have more respect for you. It's something where you can instantly change your style and get a crazy effect. But so when you start to dress better, wear better fitting clothes, wear clothes that look more flattering on you, with better style, then you start to feel better. You're like, wow, you feel more confident and you look better. So if you're just doing the fitness thing, you're missing this whole other side of the coin. And when you combine them together, it's a crazy. We call it the Hollywood effect. You create that Hollywood effect where people see you like, wow, who is this person? Kind of resembles some sort of like Hollywood actor.
Yeah, because the average guy typically doesn't have both components. You can see guys who are really, really well dressed, but they may not be in great shape. Or you have guys who are in great shape, but they just look like they've stepped out of the gym, even though they may have not even gone and lifted today. And so to find guys who combine both, we were so unused to seeing it that we immediately see that and recognize that as somebody who's special, somebody who's a little bit higher up the ladder than what we're used to seeing around us.
Yeah, and especially, when you live in a competitive city, like big city, Toronto, New York, LA, London, all these cities, it's like people are kind of catching on. And when you do hit that double effect, then like, yeah, it's a game changer. Because even in my city, Toronto, I think people are starting to improve. Men are starting to really improve their style. I think 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't much competition. You just put in a tiny bit of work and you're way ahead of the game. But now it's getting a little bit more. It's getting a little bit more. People are catching up. So if you don't get this handled, you're gonna fall by the wayside.
Well, and what's cool is that they work synergistically, because it doesn't have to be that you focus so much on style that it comes at the expense of improving your fitness, or vice versa. They're not something that each one of them requires so much time, so much mental energy, or so much effort that you can't improve both simultaneously and continue to improve yourself. Especially because, I mean, dude, you know what it's like. As soon as you start to improve yourself in one arena, you get addicted to it and you want to improve yourself in other areas. And when you can kind of get that yin yang effect of fitness style, and each one continues to level up and bounce off of each other, especially if you feel like you're hitting a plateau in your lifts or the way that your clothes tell the story you want them to, or anything else. But then this one improves and that one builds up, and then they compound, and each one of them gets stronger because they're working in tandem with each other.
Right. No, exactly. And what's cool is sometimes you end up saving time when you learn some of this style stuff. You kind of just have a little system, and you kind of have an idea of what you want to wear, and there's no decision making. You just have your outfit on point, and it's like, having good style doesn't mean you're going to have 50 different outfits that you wear within a week period. It might just be pretty simple. Might just be a handful, and for different sort of scenarios, and it really speeds up the process. I do a lot of traveling. I'm going to LA a lot, and I have to have different outfits for different situations, and it actually saves me a lot of time because I understand style. I'm like, okay, here's what I need. I don't, I don't need 4 pairs of pants. I can just have one or
Exactly.
two.
And that's one of the things that's really cool about what we focus on within the program, or even just the approach that we take in general, is it's not this idea of, here is what this pair of pants does and how you match it with this other thing. Because if you're just focused on the tactics, on trying to understand the rules that apply here and apply there, yes, understanding those is important. But if you can't take it down a notch into some of the principles, then you're never going to actually get to the point where it becomes effortless. And I mean, that's the same thing with fitness. If you never learn about how to actually listen to your body, how to estimate your macros based on what you've eaten that day or other things, and you're always just like, well, sorry, I got to get out my calorie calculator here. And I mean, then it becomes an inhibitor to your life instead of something that benefits it. And it's the same thing with your style. If all you focus on is what pants can I wear with what shirt, as opposed to those good principles of it, then it does more damage than good. And that's what's cool about the way that you and I are teaching it to these guys, is there's more to it than that.
Right. And this is something where it's something you just want to get handled, and you don't really want to have to think about it. Like, it's fun to learn, challenge yourself, go every once in a while, maybe buy a couple other pieces of items. In the last couple of years, I've just been having way more fun with it. If people have watched my Instagram stories, and but it's fun, but it shouldn't really take up any, after a certain point, it shouldn't take up any mental energy, because it's just your style. It's just what you're wearing. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Like, go out, build your business, work in your career. Just let that enhance your life.
Continue to reap all the benefits without having to put in anything more than minimal maintenance on it.
Yeah. I mean, that's really, fundamentally the strategy. Even when I did, I don't know, a lot of people probably here don't know this. If you watch my Instagram on like Gallagher, I was doing a film, you know, in Michigan, and my character, I was playing this kind of stuck up, kind of arrogant, rich, a med school student, and so I had to have like these, these outfits that kind of portrayed that, and so like I had to go buy my own. I had to like they kind of gave me a budget. I had to go get my own clothes because it was tight schedule. They wanted to get you the right fit. And I just knew exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, I got it, you know, and it was easy, and everything I got was like really well fitted. But I couldn't imagine a few years ago, I would have been like, shit, okay, I would have got like the wrong blazer size. It would have looked atrocious. They'd be like, shit, this is horrible.
How do we cast this guy?
I know. So it's, you know, it's fun when you get your style down and everything. So what are really the keys to nailing this down? You know, for the listeners, like if someone's listening right now and like, okay, cool, I understand that style is important. I get that. But what am I doing wrong? Or, you know, what do I need to be focusing on?
So I think there are two things, especially for guys who are in great shape, that you really need to be aware of and focused on. And the first one is that your stuff has to fit. Now, when I'm talking to guys in general, usually when I say that your stuff has to fit, it's because guys are wearing stuff that's too big. But for the most part, guys who are into fitness, you guys are typically wearing stuff that's too tight because you've worked hard for your body and you want to be able to show it off. You want to see it when you catch yourself in the mirror or when you're walking by a car window or something else. And obviously you want to leverage that in your relationships with other people, but you don't want it to just be so tight that it looks like the only thing that you have going for you is your physique or your muscles. And most guys definitely fall into that trap.
I was shooting a video a couple days ago, and with a couple of my friends, they're girls. And at one video, I'm like, you know what? Let me ask this question. You know, like we talked about style, and one of the first things they said they hated is when these guys that work out wear this super tight clothing. They say it looks horrible.
Yeah.
It's bad, yeah.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, from a girl's perspective, okay, and I mean, you see guys who joke about this all the time within the fitness industry, that once you get to a certain physique, you're no longer impressing women, you're just impressing other dudes, because we take it to that extreme of showing that kind of mastery. And it's the exact same thing with your style, where if the only thing that it's communicating is I have big muscles, most girls are going to see that not as a neutral and certainly not as a positive, but as a negative. They're going to hold that against you instead of seeing that as something that's in your favor.
But if you were if you're wearing like you know, good clothes, good outfit, and then you were to take said clothes off, she would be way more impressed.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like, you know. But then when you throw it right in her face, it's like if you have a lot of money and you lead with that and just talk about, oh yeah, I have this job, girls will be utterly unattracted. But if they find out later, they'll be pretty into it.
Right. Yeah, that it's, oh, he didn't even need to talk about it because he's charismatic and he's a good conversationalist and he's dominant and, you know, all these other things that girls are attracted to. And then you've got a great build, or then you've got good income or something else. I mean, then rather than it being a distraction, it ends up being a really good supplement, and it works very much in your favor, which ultimately I think comes back into that number two thing that I think is.
And that's also how you can, sorry, a little side tangent.
Yeah.
That's also how you can kind of signal, hey, I'm successful. I have control in this world. I'm a high value guy, without saying it to a girl. Or
exactly.
With your style.
Exactly. And that's ultimately, that's that second point, is whether, even if your stuff fits, if the only thing that you wear is something that is indicative of, hey, I work out, then you're missing out on opportunities to tell a fuller story about who you are and what you bring to the table. Because I've seen guys who they wear stuff that, yeah, it fits them well. It's not too tight or too skinny, but if all you're ever in are joggers or like jogger sweatpants and workout gear, then you're missing opportunities to deepen yourself. And that's not to say that you need to be wearing suits or you need to be wearing button-up shirts or anything else like that. I mean, you certainly are an example of what it's like to have a very casual and a very effortless style.
I've been playing up, though. I've been getting some
right,
some blazers.
But you're not athleisure. You know what I mean? You don't always look like you just walked out of the gym. And you and I have developed that very intentionally for you, so that, again, it looks like there's more to you than just the fact that you can work out.
Yeah, no, totally. And so people have to realize, if you're listening to this right now, you got to realize how much of effect, how much you can get from just improving your style and saying a certain story. And if you don't, yeah, if you miss out on that, it's something where, you really want to get that benefit. If you put in the work in the gym, building a great body, building strength, getting healthy, getting fit, high energy, then you want to have that double punch. I've had so many times when girls have complimented me on my style, or it's ridiculous. You could jump, you could take someone that's just in good shape, not dressed that well, maybe their haircut's not that cool, and completely change them. And it's amazing how much of an effect that would have. And that would just take a day, but it's in the gym. It takes months and months and months.
Mhm.
So the cool thing is the style. You can get that initial confidence boost, and look instantly better.
Yeah, it's a small win that turns into a big win, and it helps you get the momentum going in your favor, because it can be really hard to spend 4 or 5 weeks in the gym and not really see any results because everything comes slowly and incrementally. But if you can ride off of the high that comes from changing your wardrobe a little bit, and then you walk in and you feel totally different, that'll help you get through those times that are difficult and other things that you're trying to improve yourself on.
Yeah, and what's interesting? One of the other things when I was talking to these girls, one of the things they said about style was that if a guy isn't well dressed, they just assume he has a low self-esteem. They assume he doesn't
Yeah.
really care much about himself or his life. It's funny. It's funny how that. Well, what do you think that realize? What do you think that? What do you think that is?
Well, I think that there's reality to that, because the only people who truly don't care what they look like are the homeless people you see out on the street. That's one of the last things that we ultimately let go of, is the way that we present ourselves to the world. And so if there's any indication of that you don't care, and there's a big difference between being effortless in your style and looking like you don't care about it at all. One is
Right.
that you excel at it and you don't have to put in a whole lot of effort. The other is that you're completely oblivious to it and don't understand the value of it all. If you're over here, then that can be subconsciously indicative of the fact that you just don't understand a lot of the world around you in other aspects, or even if you do understand it, you've completely rejected it and you don't want anything to do with it. And so why would someone want to hire you, or why would a girl want to be with you, or why would friends want to be loyal to you, if the only thing you're communicating to them is, I don't care what anybody thinks about me?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's one of the last things that we let go of when we're on that descent to the very bottom, is concern for how we present ourselves to the world.
Right. Right. So something, and when you know the right strategies to improving your style, and with combined with it being in great shape, you will stand out like crazy. It is
Yep.
because you know what? There's a lot of guys are catching up. They're improving their style, but there's still, there's it's not hard to overstep the competition.
Yeah, especially because I mean, you see most style guys, and guys who fall primarily within that kind of being their main identity is that they're well dressed. They're usually scrawnier guys, or it's the same thing as you deal with in the fitness industry. It's just coming from the other angle. It's so rare that you actually see men who have the complete package of both of those elements. And so the fact that both of them are accelerating in the competition just means that if you get good at both of them, instead of just getting a better physique or just improving your style, but you can combine those two together, then you don't have to have the absolute best wardrobe or the absolute best build, because those two work in tandem with each other.
So, what are some of your favorite stores to shop at? I actually tend to, when I was younger, I'd just go shopping like once every 6 months, a year when I really had to. But now it's actually a lot more fun just to go every couple of weeks and just look around. Sometimes I won't even buy anything. Sometimes I'll pick one thing up. It's more fun to do it like that because you get to kind of see what's going on and
Mhm.
buy something if you really really want it, you really really like it. You won't be like, oh, I ran out of stuff. So I mean, for me, I love going as I like my three are like Zara, Urban Outfitters, and Top Man. I got this sick jacket at Top Man this winter,
Yeah.
long black jacket.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that one.
Oh my god, it is killer. You just can't. it signals a lot of value.
Well, and that's what's so fun about the stage where you are. And I think a lot of guys don't realize how easy it is to get to that stage because they may initially go out and buy that big statement piece as opposed to starting off with some of the simple stuff. But you don't have to have a ton of items in your wardrobe, kind of like you were alluding to earlier, where you just have a few things that you can rotate through really well. And then every once in a while, you can go out and hit up a store and decide, I'm going to buy this really strong statement piece and have it be the icing on the cake as opposed to it being the main foundation. And to be honest with guys who are just getting started, I think that those three stores that you recommended, even stuff like Cotton On or Nordstrom, and I mean, I'm a suit guy at heart, and so guys who are into suiting, you got to try custom at least once. But that kind of stuff, it becomes fun. It becomes a fun way to get better at expressing yourself rather than a slog of, oh, I got to go shopping. I hate shopping.
Yeah, well, even some of the Zara blazers and dress shirts they're making, they actually have a pretty slim fit, so it actually works well for guys that are doing Kinobody. A few of them have fit me pretty well. Not everyone fits me, but every once in a while I luck out, and it's like a couple $100, and it's a sick blazer, and it looks good. It's got like a pocket square. So yeah, even for me, people probably people have followed me for a while. They probably wouldn't believe me, but no, I don't like to spend a lot of money on style. I don't want. So I like to go shopping, get some cool stuff, but I don't want to spend $800 on a jacket. I don't want on like a winter jacket. I don't want to spend $1,000 on a blazer. I don't want to spend $90 on a t-shirt. I like to not spend that much money on my clothes.
Right. Yeah, and you certainly don't have to. I'm from the other camp where I like that stuff, but I noticed a difference in the quality. And that what's fun is there's not a right or a wrong in either direction. And especially for the guys who are just starting to figure this out, go buy cheap stuff, develop your own personal sense of style from there. And then if you want to start buying higher quality stuff, do it that way. But you don't need to go buy Gucci or Prada or something else and think that automatically translates to being stylish.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I really hope you found this really helpful. Like I said earlier, we just launched the style course. It is completely awesome. If you join the next few days, you'll be able to get a pretty sweet discount. There's so much value in it. We're going to show you basically the exact stuff to get, really the most important pieces to buy for different situations, whether it's going to the gym, where you're out in your day-to-day life, that's kind of streetwear, you're going out on dates, going out with your friends to bars, exactly how to dress for your kind of physique, and really how to kind of master style and teach you the kind of the concepts. You understand it, and you're able to get the best results. So it's a very, very awesome program. It's really gonna combine that with building a great body, and you're gonna have a massive leg up. And that's really why I was passionate about putting this together. And at first I wasn't really sure how receptive people would be, but when I put out the idea a few months ago, I had email after email after email being people telling me, when's the style course coming out? When's the style course coming out? So I'm really, really excited to get those people in there. And yeah, you go to kinobody.com/style. You can join the program. You can, if you're a bit nervous, I don't know if this is for me, well, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can get a full refund within 30 days if you don't absolutely love it. So I'm really excited to have you in there. And Tanner, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Greg. Always fun chatting with you, man.
Hell yeah. All right. Talk soon.